Well, good morning, everybody. This is dear Mama Sal, and I'm looking to see whether there's any. Oh yeah, I've got blue sky. That's okay. It's a balmy 11, which would make it, as you know, 52 in the States. It's pretty cloudy, and the reason I'm sort of spending a bit of time looking at the clouds is because the speed at which they're moving. We had a huge windstorm here last night, wind and driving rain, and you can really see the, excuse me, the results of that. The coffee regurgitated. In other words, I had a burpee moment. The wind and rain brought down a lot of leaves and trees, so it's a bit sad when we lose so much of the fall foliage, but never mind. I'm just looking, there's a car driving around with what looks like half a tree branch underneath it. I wonder if he knows. I don't think he does. It's a Canadian thing, you know. Let me just drive around with half a tree under my car, and I have absolutely no... Oh, gosh. What I'm also noticing, and I've just seen it now, is that two things are going on. We're about to go into our provincial elections in terms of... actually, municipal elections. And a lot of those signs are no longer standing up. You know, the big ones, vote for so-and-so for mayor or whatever. No, they're down all over the place, and it looks like some of them might have been flying missiles in the height of the storm last night, because not only are the supports on which they were tacked bare, but the thing that was attached to them is gone, which makes you wonder where they flew to. So if anybody wakes up this morning with a couple of vote for so-and-so for mayor signs, you know why. The other thing is, you know, I feel sorry for the realtors, because there's quite, I've just passed already two quite big ones, you know, which is, hello, buy this 20-acre plot or whatever. That's on the ground too, but luckily not far from where it's meant to be. So it's a little bit of devastation. Now I'm laughing, although I shouldn't, because it does look like pretty devastating stuff. But I've just left home, and for once in its life, oh, I'm sure it doesn't happen very often, Canada hit the top of the CNN news because we've got shooters in our Parliament buildings this morning. I mean, that's like, this is Canada. You know, we don't do that stuff. So, I mean, it's really quite strange, because you could just hear the total confusion by people, which is like, I can't tell you how many times I heard the words, yeah, but this is Canada. You know, it's like, yeah, we don't do that here, but apparently we do. So, I have no idea what it's about, and I'm sure during the course of the day we will all get to know what it's about, but it just to let you know, it was quite scary to wake up to that, you know, turn on the news to hear the world news, and Canada's top of the world news, and you're going, what? You know what I mean? Really? Pretty scary. All right, first of all, no, not first of all, second of all, let me thank those of you who sent me fall pictures. We've now had one from Denmark and one from England. And so any of you, if you still have fall colors anywhere, or just a pretty landscape from where, you know, somewhere near where you live, feel free, as long as it's not copyrighted. You know what I mean? As long as it's your picture you took on your Happy Snap camera, or your phone, not that somebody else took, because I cannot put a copyrighted piece of art, a photograph or anything, onto the Dear Mama Sal site. Otherwise they will ban me for life, and you wouldn't want that to happen, would you? So please, 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 please make sure you send me original stuff only. I don't want to get into bad books there. I'm sure you will understand the need for that. But please do send me the pictures. I've been really impressed with the obviously brilliant creative minds of those that have sent, because they both look like they were artwork rather than just a happy snap. Now, I took a couple of happy snaps yesterday, and I'll tell you about that in a second. But they definitely are just happy snaps of some trees. You know, they wasn't really well thought out. All right, I'm laughing because yesterday was Comedy of Errors Day. Wow, those clouds are moving so quickly. I cannot believe the wind that's still here. We must be close to a... Well, let's put it this way. I reckon we were very high winds last night. And obviously we still are high up today. I say high up because the trees are moving, but not as much as I see the clouds moving. The clouds are positively, you know, at risk of getting a ticket. They're going so fast. So anyway, yesterday, I don't know if I told you, but I've got a co-op student working with me at the moment, and she's an absolute delight, and I love her to bits. And she's got a wonderful sense of humor. It's getting better all the time. She's having to work with me. And yesterday is a bit of a treat because I've been working her very hard. I took her off to the law court so she could see a small claims matter go down. Now, I don't know if any of you have done this, but I kept thinking while I was there that this would be a really good thing for all the Dear Mama Sal broadcast viewers to go and look at, because they would all they would all really be amused, because the body language is incredible in a court, and also the voice tones, and then of course some of the antics of the people trying to manipulate the judge. Now, if you've got a sense of humor, which you know I have, you know, to me this is better than watching television. Way better. Because it's real life stuff going on. And, you know, you've got people who actually think they're smart enough to mess with the judge's mind. Well, hello? There's a reason why they're a judge. Duh. Anyway, so here are a couple of nice anecdotes from it. First of all, a guy walked in with his lawyer. Oops. And the judge looks at him and said, "This action is about Mr. and Mrs. So-and-so. Where is Mrs. So-and-so?" "No, she's sick." "Uh-huh." You can just tell the judge, you know, believed that like a hole in the head. So she said, "And do you have a medical certificate to say that?" "No." Okay. And then the judge looked at the lawyer and said, "Sick with what?" And the lawyer said, actually it was quite a quick answer considering, obviously he's done it before. He said, "Many things." I tell you, I can't tell you how much I wanted to burst out laughing. You know, many things. You know, like I haven't the foggiest idea. That's, by the way, that's my interpretation, seeing as we're still talking interpretation. My interpretation was sick of many things about which I know absolutely nothing. Anyway, so the judge just looked. You know, it was really funny. And then the judge asked the lawyer a question, and the lawyer went, "Yep, yep, 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 yep," and I nudged the co-op student. I do call her by name, but I don't want to on on a vlog. But anyway, I nudged her and I said, watch out, this is going to be good. And the reason it's going to be good is because he ducked the question. Quack, quack, quack. He totally ducked the question. For those of you who are part of the broadcast team, you will be used to my going quack, quack, quack. You know, whenever anybody ducks a question, we go quack. And actually, I must say, the broadcast team are very good at doing that now. Anyway, so guess what? The judge asked a question, and the lawyer went for about a minute. At the end of it, the judge just looked at him and went, as I said, or as I previously asked, and re-asked the question. And guess what the lawyer did? Never answered the question again. Well, of course, you know, I'm cracking up here. This to me is absolute entertainment. If you could have seen the body language from the judge, you knew that she was not amused at all. Well, I was having a blast. And then the same lawyer suddenly said, but I have with me. And the judge said, you can't suddenly produce new bits of paper. You know, when you do litigation stuff, both sides have to have the same bits of paper. You know, so you're all playing on a square playing field, a flat playing field, if you like. You know, in other words, you can't sort of keep stuff hidden and only bring it out at the last minute. You know, that may happen on television occasionally, but it doesn't happen in law. You know, it's very good for drama, but it's not good for actual practicing law. So you actually have to have exactly the same bits of paper. And anyway, so this guy's trying to bring in new bits of paper. No. And he did it about 3 times. Very interesting. Anyway, I was deeply engrossed, as you know I would be. And suddenly the judge looks directly at me. And I just about choked on my coffee. Because the judge said, I'd like one of those too. But as I had to leave mine in my chambers, perhaps you'd be good enough to get rid of yours. And I'm going, well, you can imagine what I was thinking. Here I am meant to be the role model. Actually, she said it very nicely. She did it with a smile. And so I did a great bit of body language, like, oh my God, what did I do type body language, you know, and hung my head in shame as I left the court and put my coffee down and came back again. DUFUS. But nowhere going in did it say, please do not bring in your coffee. It would have been nice if they had that. They did say turn off your cell phones, and we did that. Anyway, you can imagine how much that pleased my my student, that I was trying to give her a sense of the decorum of a law court. And Sal gets thrown up. Yeah. You had to be there, but it was very funny. Well, what I did is I waited until everybody left the court room on a matter, and I then apologized to her personally. I just said, I am so sorry. I had no idea. And she said, no, that was obvious. It's all right. And she was very, very charming. And it turned out afterwards I knew her. I didn't know it at the time, but when I realized who she was later, I actually used to be in a Rotary Club with her. So, quite funny. I mean, it would be quite, in order for me to write to the judge and say, I'm the lady that you threw out of your court yesterday for drinking coffee. Anyway, I really do recommend, if you have never done it, to go and spend an hour or two. I mean, I think we spent about an hour and a half, and it was really fascinating, funny enough, for us both, because you can imagine I was not only trying to show the student the points of law that were coming up, but also to get her to see that the body language and the voice tones were very relevant. For example, if the judge asked for something and you suddenly saw there were ways in which the lawyers would go through their bits of paper that told you whether that bit of paper was there or wasn't there. And the difference was that, I'm pleased to say, that the one case that we saw with one of our lawyers there, the judge would say, and do you have that with you? And, it was just like, yes, absolutely, and here it is. And then, she'd ask the same thing of the other guy. And it was like, you knew he didn't have it. So unprepared. It wasn't, it was actually quite embarrassing. And, when you think that he had paid, somebody had paid him good money to be there. And totally unprepared. So my interpretation of him as a lawyer sucked. And, in a word, I'd have to say sucked. Perhaps that's something that we should be aware of today is what messages, and we were talking a bit yesterday about the look from hell. You know that one, or I really did have a mother that could communicate quite significantly without saying a word. And that would include throwing me out of the room as an adult. If she thought I said something that was inappropriate for a dining room table. I don't know whether you have that in your life, but we had certain subjects that were taboo at the dining room table. And that included politics, religion, sex. I don't know, there was a whole laundry list of stuff. But what I noticed was it was only out of off the menu, if you like, for us. It wasn't off the menu for them occasionally, but which is the double standard that is being a parent, right? Very amusing. Don't do as I do, do as I say. No wonder children get confused. Anyway, after my monumental DUFUS moment yesterday, I really did have quite a good day for the rest of the day. Very stressed because I was, I lost a couple of hours in the morning, so I had more to do in less time. But luckily, my student and I buckled down and worked our little hearts out, and we did really well. And then I took another couple of minutes to put her. I took her to one of our big litigation lawyer. I don't mean small claim stuff. I mean, the serious Supreme Court stuff. And I asked whether he could give her a couple of minutes of time, 10 minutes or so, and he said sure. And it was so cute because he said, do anything except law. Which I thought was really interesting, and he wasn't being nasty. He was saying how few people actually have the right mentality for it. A lot of people see it on television and think, oh, I'd love to do that. But what you see on television isn't law. It's drama. And so what he was saying is, you know, really, unless you really, really, really want to work 20 hours out of 24, or, you know, some cases, if you don't want to have a personal life. And one of the things that he said, which I thought was really interesting, is that doctors are inclined to marry doctors and lawyers are inclined to marry lawyers, and some lawyers marry doctors. And do you know why? Because both those professions have lives that take them above and beyond 9 to 5. And so you really need to marry somebody else whose life is equally impositioned, if you like, to be able to have any sort of balance. There are very few wives that would put up with the hours that a lawyer or most doctors have to put in. They want the lifestyle that maybe it brings, but they don't necessarily want to live that lifestyle. And I thought that was an interesting point that he brought up. And it's not the perception, if you like, but it was the way that he said it. And I tell you that there was no doubt in my mind that he meant it. He said he'd seen so many article students come through, or even young lawyers come through, who just didn't have what it took to be a lawyer. It's not a 9 to 5 job, and if you think it is, you know, you're wrong. Okay, I did try to give you space there. But you could also tell, as he was telling the stories, that he absolutely loves what he does. And that to him, the only time you actually are a lawyer is when you're doing what he's doing, which is that sort of law. He obviously had no time whatsoever for solicitors who do family or conveyancing or corporate or anything like that. He has no time. That's not being a lawyer as far as he was concerned.